It is officially NBA schedule release day as the entire 82 game schedule will be put out today at 3 p.m. But despite it not fully being out yet, we already have some key dates that we can talk about and look into. Uh, some of those dates are part of the NBA Cup, which the Cavs are in the toughest group by far. Do we care about that though? Does the cup matter at all? I know it's been a couple years now, but still doesn't seem like it's picking up that much steam. Also, Naquan Tomlin, we need to check in on him because could he be one of the missing pieces that us Cavs fans are already complaining about not having, kind of sitting there quietly, just waiting for his opportunity? And finally, the Charlotte Hornets are a very intriguing team when it comes to their roster makeup and some guys that may be available right now or may become available from them very, very soon. Let's break that all down right now here on Cavs Daily. I'm your host, Paul Williams, back with another banger. Appreciate you guys being here with me today. And we are going to touch in on the NBA schedule. We'll have a full breakdown tomorrow, so make sure you subscribe just so you don't miss that. And for the time being, let's just talk about some of the big games we know already will be happening this NBA season. First of all, we touched on it last video, but the Cavs, unfortunately, will not be playing an NBA Christmas game, and it is bullshit. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It's normal, though, for the Cavs to get snubbed and for Cleveland just to get disrespected on a national stage. Doesn't make much sense, seeing as we were in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 months ago. We played on Christmas Day last year as one of just two Eastern Conference teams on the schedule for that 5 game slate. And we played in the most entertaining Christmas Day game that day. But who cares? We do have some other big games that we already know are happening. The first one, obviously, October 22nd, when the Cavs will go to Philadelphia to ruin LeBron's first game in Philadelphia as a 76er. That still sounds so gross and weird to say, but whatever. It's okay. We're not sweating it. Unfortunately, we're going to be seeing a lot of the 76ers, though, as we'll also be facing them in the NBA Cup. We'll touch on that in a second. But another slate of games was released by the NBA over the past 24 hours. Well, actually, two of them, one for MLK Day and then one for President's Day. MLK Day in late January and President's Day on February 15th. We don't really have to worry about President's Day, though, as the Cavs will not be on the schedule, at least not on the national TV schedule. But on MLK Day, they will be opening things up with a 12 p.m. showdown against the Detroit Pistons. The game will be played in Cleveland, so that'll be fun. I mean, MLK Day isn't Christmas Day, it isn't like some huge event for the NBA regular season, but it is an interesting day. It's always on a Monday when a lot of people are out of work, and it's very abnormal for the NBA to play a weekday game that early. So it'll be fun to wake up and have the Cavs on the schedule at noon against one of our rivals from the past year or two, the up and coming Detroit Pistons. Don't think the Pistons will be the team they were last year, as they were first in the Eastern Conference for most of the season and finished as the number one seed. I'm guessing at that time on MLK Day, the Pistons will be more in the 5 through 7 range, maybe the fourth spot in the Eastern Conference, but it will still be a showdown between two playoff teams that just got done playing a grueling 7 game series. And even before that playoff series, it was clear the Cavs and Pistons just don't like each other. The Pistons didn't like the fact that the Cavs had a lot to say after a regular season game against the Pistons last year, pretty much echoing what we were saying throughout the season, that Pistons, when it comes down to it, they just don't worry us. Like, yeah, they were a good regular season team, but the Cavs players individually felt like, and I agreed fully, that if the Cavs and Pistons met up in a playoff series, the Cavs would be able to get it done. That happened. They did, winning two huge games in Detroit, game 5 and game 7. So it'll be interesting to see if the Pistons come out with a little extra juice on MLK Day, trying to get a little get back, even though any real get back would have to come in the playoffs. But those for now until 3 p.m. today are the main things that have been released schedule wise by the NBA. We'll have the full slate shortly. And once we have that, we'll break down the toughest stretches, the longest road trips, the games to circle on our calendar, etc. But for now, let's zero in on something that the NBA has released, and that is the NBA Cup schedule. For those who aren't aware or don't care, I mean, I wouldn't blame you. The NBA Cup is back. It has still not gained the traction I think the NBA was hoping. Now in its fourth year of action, the NBA Cup has seen previous winners, the Lakers in 23, the Bucks in 24, and the Knicks in 25. Pretty interesting because the Knicks versus the Spurs was the NBA Cup championship last year, and of course that ended up being the NBA Finals as well. And then the year before in 24, the Thunder were also in the NBA Cup championship and then in the finals as well. And then the year before, the Pacers were in it, and while they didn't make the championship till the next year, I guess success and making it to the final game in the NBA Cup can be a precursor for playoff success, but I'm still not all the way bought in on really caring that much personally about it. The NBA did put the Cavs in the most ridiculous group of any of the 6 NBA Cup groups. There's A, B, and C group in both the East and the West. Uh, every other one is pretty level and pretty even with 2 upper echelon teams and then a mid team and 2 pretty bad teams, except for Eastern Conference Group B, which is, of course, the Cavs group, who hosts or who hold what could be truly the top 5 teams in the Eastern Conference this year. In the East B group is the New York Knicks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Miami Heat, and the Indiana Pacers. Just a ridiculous group to put together. I don't know what the NBA was thinking, but whatever. We're not stressing it. I mean, win or lose, I think the Cavs will be all right. But the Cup will be played as it was last year. The regular bracket games, the 4 games against your group compadres will be played between October 30th and November 27th. Those will be on Tuesday and Wednesday nights called Cup Nights. Each team will play the other 4 teams in their group one time, 2 at home, 2 away. All Cup games will count towards your regular season record besides the championship game that's like the ghost game that doesn't count. The Thunder took advantage of that a couple years ago when they lost, but it didn't count against their winning streak, which had run up to double digits already. The quarterfinals and semifinals will be played on December 4th and December 5th, and then the championship will be played on December 11th. The Cavs schedule uh, goes as such. The Cavs will start things off with their first Cup group game on November 6th. And you already know who it's against. Come on, the NBA, they like to be petty. And of course, they have us opening up in Philadelphia. So you know the NBA Cup schedule has to open up with Philadelphia coming to Cleveland. LeBron will be making his return November 6th at 7:30 p.m. We all know that's going to be a big game, nationally televised game. And it'll be fun to see what that game has in store. I do think the Cavs will be juiced up for that one. That'll actually be on a Friday. I'm sorry, the semifinals and the quarterfinals will be on Tuesday and Wednesday. The all the regular Cup games will be on Fridays, besides one Wednesday to close things out. So the Philadelphia 76ers will be coming to Cleveland on November 6th, which is a Friday. And then that following Friday, The Cavs will travel to Miami for their second cup game before coming back home the Friday after that, the 20th, to take on the Pacers, and they will wrap things up that following Wednesday, traveling to New York to face the Knicks for their fourth and final group stage game. Man, it's tough to handicap that group because literally any of those 5 teams could not just win the cup, but theoretically win the NBA championship. I mean, you have the 2 mainstays of the Eastern Conference, the Knicks and the Cavs, the teams that have been the top 2 or top 3 teams for a couple years now. Then you have the new hot fun team, the Philadelphia 76ers, of course. Then other new interesting team, the Heat, after adding Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then finally the kind of question mark team that should contend, but you just never know, the Indiana Pacers. It'll be interesting to see what Halliburton is looking like by then. So I'm excited for this. I'm going to say we'll give more in-depth predictions on the cup. But I am going to say that the Cavs do advance this year for the first time. They haven't advanced in the cup yet. Always seem to finish just outside of qualifying for the next round. But I do think the Cavs will finish 3-1, 2-2 at worst. I think we'll take the Philadelphia game and the Miami game for we'll take the Philadelphia game and the Pacers game. I think for sure the 2 home games. The 2 road games are tough. Miami, we're a better team. I think we beat them in a 7-game series for sure. But playing in Miami on a Friday night is always tough, and you just never know how your team is going to come out, if they're gonna be ready to play or if they're gonna be hungover. We saw that last year when the Cavs, went to Miami and laid an egg in their first, away game against the Heat. So that game and the Knicks game in New York, I think are the 2 that the Cavs could lose and would be the 2 they lose if they end up 2-2. But if they end up 3-1, I do think it'll be them winning their 2 home games and then either beating the Heat or the Knicks on the road to qualify. What do you think, though? What are your thoughts on the NBA Cup? Do you even care about it? Do you think the Cavs can get out of this group? And how the hell did we get stuck in a group that is this stacked? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We'll have a lot of time to talk about them in the future. But for now, let's kind of get back to the actual players that are going to be playing these games and going to be on the roster for the Cavs during this upcoming regular season. I know we keep harping on the hole we have at the combo forward position, and I understand it because I've been one of the people harping on it for a long time now. But is there a guy that's just kind of sitting idly, waiting for his opportunity to be exactly that for the Cavs? I don't know. I mean, if we talked about this in January of last year, I think a lot of people were convinced that Naquan Tomlin was going to be a big part of the Cavs rotation going forward. Obviously, a lot of that changed after the trade deadline, just like with so many Cavaliers players. Tomlin had his time cut way, way back once that happened. He went from averaging a season and career high 20 minutes per game in January, down to just 13 in February, and then just 10 in March. In March, he only played double digit minutes 5 times after playing double digit minutes almost every single game except for one in January, and almost every single game in December and November as well. If you guys can remember, after not playing at all in October, Tomlin started to kind of get his feet wet in November as the Cavs started to deal with a lot of injuries. He had a semi breakout game against the Raptors on November 13th, where he shot 8 of 10 from the field to drop 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals. That was kind of his coming out game. He was doing a little bit of everything except for knocking down a three. He missed his first 15 3-point attempts to start the season last year. Got a little better after that, but still didn't shoot well from three, well below 30%. And if he is going to fill a role as a real rotation player, that's going to be the one area he does have to improve. He wasn't shy shooting it, shot over 100 3-point attempts last season. but he just has to refine his shot a little bit. He has a bit of a slow release. You kind of know when it's coming, and it just wasn't effective last season. If he can get that up to 32, 34%, I think Tomlin can be a real weapon off the bench for this Cavs team. He's 6'8" with like 7'2" wingspan. He's super athletic and electric on the court. I mean, he's like a Jalen Tyson in the sense that he brings an energy to the game that just can't be replicated, and it's not like it's something you can call out in a box score, but it's tangible when you're watching the game. He was a huge reason the Cavs kind of kept their head above water early in the season when we were struggling with a lot of ups and downs and a lot of injuries. He more than earned getting a guaranteed contract last year after hovering in that mode where he was running out of games to play on his two-way contract, and the Cavs weren't going to be able to use him in the playoffs if they didn't sign him to a fully guaranteed contract. He got that. He now has that full year under his belt. And I do think he is ready to contribute. I'm not sure if he can be like the first forward off the bench, but I think I could be comfortable with Naquan Tomlin being a 15-minute per game guy that does play real minutes off the bench, is our eighth or ninth man, and can be a backup forward that earns some spot starts here and there for guys that are injured. He's a overall solid rebounder, but he's an elite offensive rebounder, and he can get off of his feet so quickly. If he gets the offensive rebound, it's almost guaranteed going to be a dunk. I think there's a lot more juice to squeeze out of Tomlin, still only 25. Uh, really, last year, even though he played some games the previous year, last year was his first taste of real NBA ball. So I think he does have a high ceiling to improve. Yeah, I do think he can be a rotational player. I don't know if that means I don't think we need to add any other forwards, but I think worst case scenario, if we don't before the season starts, I think with him, Hazonia, and Tyson, the Cavs can fill out the backup forward role adequate enough. And then if they need to make a move, they'll have all season up until the trade deadline to do it. But I just feel like we're kind of forgetting about Tomlin in a lot of the offseason discussions. So I wanted to throw him back out there to you guys, see what you think. His stats last year were eye-popping. 6 points per game, 3 rebounds, 48% shooting from the field. But it was just what he did in spurts when he got real playing time. If you were paying attention, it was exciting. And he kind of showcased what he can do in the final game of the season against the Wizards when most of the starters were out. The Wizards were playing most of their guys. Tomlin went off for 26 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, kind of just showing the well balanced game he does have. He also hit 4 3 pointers. He shot 8 total, hit 4. That was a great sign as well. If he can build on that, he could be a serious contributor to this Cavs team. But what do you guys think about Tomlin? Let me know because I don't think he's been talked about enough, and he could be a key piece to the rotation this season. And to wrap it up today, guys, I think there's a team down in Charlotte that could have a few possible potential key pieces to this Cavaliers rotation if we were able to pull off a move with them. That, of course, is the Charlotte Hornets, who have a pretty hectic offseason after way overachieving last year and being honestly one of the best teams in the entire NBA the second half of the season. I think they had the second best record in the NBA for a 30 game stretch between January and March. Despite all that, they didn't blow it up, but they got rid of 2 of their 3 best players in LaMelo Ball and, Miles Bridges, trading Bridges to the Suns and Ball, of course, to the Timberwolves. And I think the pieces they got back in those 2 trades could be absolutely perfect fits on this Cavs team. First of all, the first guy I'll talk about is the one I think is more realistic and would be much easier to obtain, and that is Donovan Mitchell's best friend or one of his best friends and former teammates, Royce O'Neal. He's a veteran now. He's getting older. He's Well, he just turned 33 this summer. He will play the whole season at the age 33, but he's the type of player that will age more gracefully. He doesn't rely on any type of like elite athleticism or anything along those lines. He's just a savvy NBA vet that does all the little things right and makes him a valuable contributor to any team he plays on. He played with Donovan for 4 years in Utah, and every stop he makes on his NBA career trajectory, it seems like he brings a ton of value to the team. He's never gonna be a big scoring guy or anything along those lines, but at 6'6", 6'7", he can guard 1 through 3, even the 4 in a pinch. He can shoot the 3 adequate enough to keep the defense honest, and over the past 2 years, he shot it at an elite level. He shot 40% from 3, both in the 24-25 and 25-26 season, and that was on over 6 attempts per game. So he's a super high volume elite three-point shooter that can play defense and doesn't need the ball in his hands. He can score 15 points dribbling the ball 5 times in a game. That's exactly what would look perfect around guys like James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. And Royce O'Neal has been a name I've long wanted the Cavs to find a way to maybe bring in. He on the Hornets now is a weird fit. I don't know if they're planning on keeping him around for long, but if there is an opportunity to make a move for him, let's do it, Cavs. Please, let's do it. He also rebounds the ball pretty well for a small forward type, averaging about 5 rebounds per game. Pretty much going to get you 9 or 10 points, 5 rebounds, a steal, a block every few games, and shoot elite 3-point shooting, along with not needing the ball in his hands. I mean, I don't know if there's a team that type of skill set would be more valuable for than the Cleveland Cavaliers. And with the Donovan Mitchell connection, I don't know. I'm just hoping that there is some truth to the fact because I have heard that the Cavs have like sniffed around bringing him in over this summer, and I hope they're still doing that because outside of like Peyton Watson, maybe I don't know if there's a better like mid-level or under the radar addition that's realistic that the Cavs could make than Royce O'Neal. He would be a dream acquisition in my eyes. They have some other guys too, like maybe a Grant Williams could be a throw in on a potential trade. He's an undersized big man, but the Cavs do need more depth behind Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. And then the big game hunting name that I would love for the Cavs to go after, but I'm sure, well, not, I'm sure, I know 100% a lot of teams are trying to go after is Nas Reed, who, of course, was traded from the Minnesota Timberwolves to the Charlotte Hornets in the LaMelo Ball deal. Reed is a God dang, former Six Man of the Year award winner. He was the best big off the bench the past couple of years for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He now finally is in a situation where he'll most likely be the starting power forward or center. He's 6'9", has a pretty long wingspan himself. I think he's better at the power forward. He does play a lot of center though, and is listed as a center. But either way, he would be such a dynamic piece for this Cavaliers team. If that could be our backup big off the bench, that's the type of bench addition that could win a team a championship. I mean, he clearly is good enough to start, but I think his skills play even better off the bench. He's super consistent over the past 3 seasons for the Timberwolves, pretty much averaged 14 points and 6 rebounds each and every season, playing about 26, 27 minutes per game. He's going to shoot 46, 47% from the field, pretty efficient. And then from three, about 38%. He had a bit of an outlier year a couple years ago where he shot 41% on 5 attempts per game. He upped that to 6 attempts per game the last couple of years and shot more in the 37% range. And even at that, I mean, that's still such a valuable piece for any team. I can see why he's so sought after. I mean, guys, could you imagine being able to put Nas Reed in a rotation with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley? So pretty much at all times, you have either Mobley and Allen, Mobley and Reed or Reed and Allen on the court, I mean, that could be so dynamic. The shooting that Reed brings would bring out so much in Mobley and Allen and all the guys around him, and playing with point guard like James Harden. We saw what it did for Jared Allen once Harden was brought over last season. I think that could unleash another level of Nas Reed. Of course, he's not going to be an easy get, as, like I said, half the NBA would love to add him. But man, if the Cavs could get something done, that could be a game changer. He's not a reasonable enough contract. That's another reason he's so sought after. But yeah, if the Cavs could find a way to get a deal done for Nas Reed and Royce O'Neal, we're winning the ship. I mean, if we could trade Max Strus, Dennis Schroeder, I'll give them Proctor, I'll give them Tyson if they wanted, probably for that type of deal, and 2 first rounders. It would be a scary sight for the NBA, man, because the Cavs don't need to add another superstar. What they need is exactly what O'Neal and Reed would bring, and they would bring it in spades. Gosh, Altman, if you haven't already, please keep blowing up the Charlotte Hornets, because those 2 guys, or either one of them, bringing them in could be game changing for this Cavaliers team, and I don't think it's been talked about enough. With that, we're wrapping it up today. Guys, like I said, keep your eyes out for the NBA schedule release at 3 p.m. today, and make sure you check back so we can break it down together tomorrow and on some ensuing episodes. If you haven't yet, boys and girls, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on these daily drops that we do here at Cavs Daily. But either way, if you're still watching, you're a real one, and I appreciate you. I'll see you guys tomorrow.